The soft morning light cast a warm glow through the windows of Riverside Café as 28-year-old Sophia Blake nervously adjusted the brown apron over her beige sweater. Her blonde hair fell in gentle waves past her shoulders as she tried to memorize the cafe layout that her younger sister had hastily explained over the phone an hour earlier. "I am so sorry to ask this of you," Rachel had said weakly, her voice hoarse from the sudden onset of bronchitis. "But Mrs. Henderson is already understaffed this week, and I cannot afford to miss work. The morning regulars are pretty understanding, and most orders are straightforward." Sophia worked as an elementary school teacher, but it was Saturday, which gave her the flexibility to help Rachel, who had been working at the cafe for 8 months while finishing her nursing degree. The sisters had always supported each other through difficult times, and Sophia would not hesitate to help when Rachel needed her. Mrs. Henderson, the cafe owner, was clearly stressed but grateful as she gave Sophia a quick tutorial on the coffee machines, the point-of-sale system, and the preferences of regular customers. "The weekend crowd is usually relaxed," Mrs. Henderson explained while showing Sophia how to operate the complicated espresso machine. "Just be honest about being new, and most people will be patient. The important thing is to stay calm and ask for help when you need it." As the first customers arrived for their weekend coffee ritual, Sophia quickly discovered that cafe service required skills she had never developed. The espresso machine seemed to have dozens of buttons and settings, the milk steamer required perfect timing, and coordinating multiple orders while maintaining friendly conversation was more challenging than managing a classroom of 7-year-olds. Despite the steep learning curve, Sophia found herself genuinely enjoying the interactions with customers. Her natural warmth and teaching background helped her connect with people, and her sincere apologies for being slower than usual were met with understanding smiles and patient encouragement. Around 9:30, a well-dressed man in his early 30s entered the cafe and chose the corner table by the large windows. He had dark hair and was wearing a crisp white dress shirt with a dark tie, suggesting he might be heading to a business meeting despite it being Saturday. He set up a laptop and seemed to settle in for an extended work session. "Good morning," Sophia said as she approached his table with a menu. "I should mention that I am filling in for Rachel today, so I might be a bit slower than you are used to." The man looked up with a genuinely warm smile. "Rachel is your sister. She mentioned having a sister who teaches school. I am James, by the way. I come in here most Saturday mornings." "I am Sophia," she replied, immediately feeling more at ease with his friendly demeanor. "Rachel always talks about how nice the regular customers are. What can I get started for you?" "Rachel usually brings me a double espresso with a splash of steamed milk, and she somehow always knows when I need a chocolate croissant to go with it," James said with obvious fondness for Rachel's attentive service. Over the next several hours, Sophia found herself drawn into increasingly lengthy conversations with James whenever she stopped by his table. He seemed genuinely interested in her work as a teacher, asked thoughtful questions about education and child development, and shared insights about leadership and motivation that suggested extensive management experience. "You really understand the challenges of working with people," Sophia observed during one of their discussions. "Do you work in education or human resources?" James hesitated slightly before responding. "I work in organizational management. You learn a lot about human nature when you are responsible for bringing out the best in people." What impressed Sophia most about James was his consistent kindness and understanding. When she accidentally brought him regular coffee instead of espresso, he graciously accepted the mistake and complimented the quality of the regular brew. When she struggled with the milk steamer and created more foam than liquid, he offered encouraging words and patient guidance. "You are being incredibly understanding about my learning process today," Sophia said gratefully as she delivered his corrected order. "Most people would be frustrated by now." "Everyone deserves patience when they are working hard to help others," James replied with obvious sincerity. "Besides, it is clear that you care about doing a good job. That attitude is worth far more than perfect technique." As the lunch crowd began arriving, Sophia found herself increasingly overwhelmed by the pace and complexity of cafe operations. Orders were accumulating faster than she could complete them. The espresso machine was producing inconsistent results, and she could sense growing impatience among some of the waiting customers. James seemed to notice her mounting stress and quietly approached the service counter during a brief lull in orders. "You look like you could use some assistance," he said softly. "I have some experience with commercial coffee equipment." Would you like me to help you catch up? Sophia looked at him with amazement and relief. You would really do that? But you are a customer trying to enjoy your Saturday morning. You should not have to work. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is help someone who is working hard for others, James replied with a gentle smile. Besides, I have a personal interest in seeing this cafe succeed. To Sophia's surprise, James efficiently diagnosed and corrected the espresso machine settings, organized the pending orders into a logical sequence, and even cleared and cleaned several tables while she focused on coffee preparation. His assistance was so natural and skillful that other customers barely noticed the temporary role change. How did you become so knowledgeable about cafe operations? Sophia asked during a quieter moment after they had successfully cleared the backlog. James smiled with what appeared to be private knowledge. I have spent considerable time studying how food service businesses operate effectively. You develop practical skills when you pay close attention to successful operations. Later that afternoon, as Sophia was cleaning tables and preparing for the evening shift to arrive, James approached her with an expression that seemed more serious than their earlier light-hearted conversations. Sophia, I want to thank you for your dedication today, he said quietly. I also need to apologize for not being completely honest about my identity. Sophia looked at him with curiosity and slight concern. What do you mean by that? James handed her an elegant business card, and Sophia felt her breath catch as she read the professional text. James Wellington, Chief Executive Officer, Wellington Food Service Corporation. You are the CEO? Sophia asked in complete disbelief. Of Wellington Food Service. James nodded, his expression becoming more earnest. Wellington Food Service owns Riverside Café, along with 15 other locations throughout the region. I was here today conducting my monthly evaluation of operations and customer experience. Sophia stared at him, trying to process this revelation with a mixture of embarrassment and confusion. You were evaluating the cafe while I was fumbling through my first day of waitressing. I had planned to conduct a routine operational assessment, James admitted honestly. But what I observed was far more valuable than any standard evaluation could have revealed. He paused, looking directly into her eyes. I watched someone who immediately responded to family need, worked extraordinarily hard to master completely unfamiliar skills, treated every customer with genuine care despite being overwhelmed, and maintained composure and humor under significant pressure. Sophia felt warmth spreading through her chest. I was just trying to help Rachel and not disappoint Mrs. Henderson. Exactly, James said with clear admiration. You demonstrated the kind of character and service orientation that represents the best of what we try to achieve in our businesses. More importantly, you showed the kind of integrity and compassion that I respect in all aspects of life. In the weeks that followed, James began visiting Riverside Café regularly, not for business evaluations but to continue the relationship he and Sophia had begun that Saturday morning. Rachel recovered from her bronchitis and returned to work, but Sophia found herself drawn to the cafe during her free time, hoping to continue her conversations with James. For months later, when James offered Sophia a position developing educational programs for Wellington Food Service employees, it represented both a career opportunity and the foundation of a personal relationship built on mutual respect and growing affection. 2 years after that unexpected Saturday at Riverside Café, as Sophia and James celebrated their engagement at the same corner table where they had first talked, Rachel proudly reflected on how her sister's willingness to help during a crisis had led to such beautiful and unexpected happiness. Sophia had discovered that life's most meaningful opportunities often arrive disguised as simple acts of love and service to family. And James had learned that true character is not revealed through formal evaluations or planned assessments, but through how someone responds to unexpected challenges with dedication, kindness, and unwavering commitment to doing their best for others.